Hi, my name is Tina White, and I'm the director of the Young Inventors Program at the Academy of Applied Science. And I'm here today with Thomas. We're so excited that you're participating in this summer reading program at your library. And we have teamed up with your local librarian to create some cool, fun STEM activities for you to do this summer. Keep watching this video and we'll show you exactly what to do, what you'll need, and explain a little bit of the science behind what you're going to see today. And don't worry if we go too fast in this video. Thomas, what should our friends at home do if they need to slow down?
Pause the video.
Pause the video, exactly. Press pause, finish what you're doing to catch up, and when you're ready to start again, just press play. All right. So along with this video, your librarian should have given you access to written directions to show you exactly what to do to follow along with us as you're doing this activity at home. And also a worksheet of lab notes so that you can record your observations and help you along the way. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Let's go. So, Thomas, have you ever heard someone say, it's hot enough to fry an egg out here on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a common phrase sometimes people say on a really hot summer day, kind of like today. Do you think it would really work? Could you fry an egg on the sidewalk?
If there was enough heat, you probably could.
Maybe. So the sun is a wonderful and free source of energy. And if harnessed correctly, this energy can provide us with enough heat to cook. In this activity, you will build a simple solar oven to cook a hot dog or to make a s'more and to take advantage of the power of the sun. So solar energy is an important source of power, and it can provide light and heat. One of the best things about solar energy is that it's renewable, so that means it won't run out. The sun will keep producing energy for 7 billion years. The sunlight hitting the ground at noon in the summer produces about as much power as a hairdryer or a microwave or a small stove. On its own, the sun won't cook things out that are outside. The sun's energy is too spread out around the earth. But in order to cook, the solar energy must be captured and concentrated into a small area, like an oven. Then it can be collected and harnessed and used for cooking. So today we're going to experiment with this to find out, but here are a few things you should know which may help figure out how we can use the sun for energy. Heat energy is the form of energy that's transferred by a difference in temperature. Heat wants to move from hotter areas to cooler ones. To change the sunlight into power for a solar oven, you need to take the sunlight, turn it into heat, and then transfer it to your oven. First, the oven must be able to absorb the light and convert it into heat by a process called absorption. During absorption, the light doesn't pass through or reflect, which means to bounce away, from the material. It remains in the material as another form of energy, like heat. Next, the oven must be able to hold and contain the heat so it won't escape. Remember that heat energy wants to move the heat from the hotter area to a cooler one, so the heat wants to spread out into the air if it can, which is why in an oven, we need to keep it in a small space. A small oven size will help keep that heat inside and allow more heat to get to your food. Another process taking place inside your solar oven is reflection. Reflection is the throwing back of light, heat, or sound by a surface, like a mirror. By using a reflective surface, the oven will reflect the sun's light and heat to help it move around inside and increase the temperature to make it hot enough to cook. So in the fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel, do you remember what happened?
They got cooked. No.
Yeah, the witch tried to cook them in the oven. And we don't want to cook Hansel and Gretel today, but instead, your challenge is to make a solar-powered oven that will cook a hot dog. So now it's time to gather a few of the materials that you're going to need to make your solar oven today. First, you're going to need some aluminum foil. You'll also need some scissors, some tape or glue, a marker, a ruler, a skewer, maybe that you use for grilling, like a kebab, or for or a chopstick or a dowel will work. We need round canisters. This one's great because it's already got a foil, a silver lining on the inside. So this is a nut snack mix container, but also maybe a Pringles container.
Ooh, a Pringles.
Or if you don't have that, an oatmeal container that's round, or a raisin container.
And it also doesn't have to be that big.
It doesn't have to be this big.
It can be tiny.
As long as it can cook a marshmallow or a hot dog. And also, if you don't have a round container, you can try this using a box too, like a cereal box or another box that you may have. Optional materials are something you can cook. Today, we're going to try hot dogs, and we also have marshmallows for making s'mores. And if you have a hot dog, what else do you need?
Mustard, relish, and ketchup.
My personal favorite.
Whatever.
So if you need time to stop the video and gather your materials, you can go ahead and do that. And we'll get started when you come back. All right. So are you ready to make your solar oven? So first, we're going to line, and we have another, we're going to do this together so that we're working. Now again, our container today is already lined, but if you need to, you can line the oven with foil. Okay, so you can take your container, line it with some glue. Go ahead and do that. And then you can share the glue. Smells like oatmeal. Try and keep your foil as smooth as possible. The smoother surface is going to make the light reflect more, and you can see the light bouncing around. You want the shiny side of the foil facing up. All right, great. So we lined our canister with foil, the one that needed a foil lining. We did have to use a little glue and a little tape to hold it in place. Don't worry if you had to use a few pieces of foil, that's fine. But you want the whole interior lined with foil with the shiny side up. All right, so now using a ruler, we're going to draw a rectangle on the side of the can about the size of a hot dog. So maybe about 6 or 7 inches long by 3 or 4 inches wide. Thomas, you want to draw for me? Okay, take the cap off.
For real?
Yeah. We're going to measure the length of a hot dog. Good. Okay, and draw a box, a rectangle. So you have a box drawn on the side of the. Great. Perfect. Okay, so it's going to look just like this. Then you may need an adult to help you with this part, using either scissors, or if you have a box cutter and have someone around to help you, you want to cut out the rectangle that you just drew. And you want to make sure that you cut through the foil on the inside of the oven too. Great. So we cut out the rectangular piece. Save this piece, you may need it later. Okay, so we can just put it aside. Now we have our basic oven shape. Now you're going to take the lid of your container. And again, you may need an adult to help. But you're going to poke a hole on the top. So kind of right in the middle. And we can use a marker to mark where the hole should go. You may not want your lid on to do this. We'll just make a mark. Yep. And then we can use the scissors. Again, you may want help with this. Just poke a hole right in the top there. Okay. Great. Did you poke a hole in yours?
Wait, do I need to do it with that?
Probably. Yep, perfect. There's our hole. Now, take the lid off, turn your canister upside down, and make a mark where your hole on the top. So your hole on the bottom is going to be even with their hole on the top. And you're going to poke a hole in that same place on the bottom too.
Right.
Yep. Okay. This is where your skewer is going to go through the middle of the oven to hold your hot dog or your marshmallow. So you should be able to then take your skewer and go all the way through. Okay, now you want to be sure when your solar oven is placed down on the table that it will sit up and face directly on the sun. So depending on the time of day, you may need to angle it. And that's where your extra square piece comes in handy, because it can be used as a prop to keep your canister from rolling around. All right, so now I think the oven's ready for cooking. So to cook a hot dog, all you want to do is you can slide out your part of the skewer. Don't slide it all the way out the top, but just part way through, so that you can, why don't you take a hot dog out? Slide. Okay, then this is, again, you may need an adult for help, but you're going to slide the hot dog right through so that the skewer sticks out the other side. Slide the skewer through. So now your hot dog's in the middle of your oven. You could try a marshmallow too if you'd rather. If you're not a fan of hot dogs and want to make a s'more, you could put the graham cracker right on the bottom of the oven, skewer the marshmallow on top. If you have a piece of chocolate, lay that on top of the graham cracker so you can roast a marshmallow. Right. So what's going on inside your oven? As the sunlight enters the oven, it is absorbed and converted to heat, and it's trapped because you've created this canister where it can't really escape. The light and the heat collect and bounce around inside, which is why the cylinder container can be more efficient than a box, as they reflect against the aluminum foil, which is your shiny surface inside. The trapped heat energy builds, increasing the temperature inside, which allows you to cook. And the more light and heat you can collect directly from the sun, the more effective your oven will be. So if you just left a hot dog out on a plate, on a table in the sun, it probably won't cook very well. You need to be able to trap, absorb the light, and collect the heat so that it bounces around your food. That concentrates it. So we're gonna let you move on from here. It'll probably take about 20 minutes to cook your hot dog and heat it so it's safe to eat. So stick it in the sun, set a timer, and see what happens. If you'd like, you can even use a thermometer and try this experiment to take the temperature outside and see how hot it gets inside your oven after it's been sitting out for 20 minutes. Try this on a sunny day and a hot day. Try it on a sunny, cooler day. Try it on a cloudy day. See how the oven works and how the temperature changes. You can use your lab notes to record your observations. We can't wait to hear how it goes. We want to enjoy our hot dogs, so have fun.